A number of people since my last podcast talking about gold have read my book, Magic of Banking, and asked me to just elaborate a little bit more on the concept of gold. And I yet again show my gold sovereign, which this one is dated 1864. I certainly wish I had a few more of them. Only got a few, but never mind. It will buy exactly the same today as it did then. Gold doesn't lose its value as money. It's, it'll go on and on buying you what it ever did. It's a wonderful store of value, as I explain in my little aid memoir, The Magic of Banking. But now, there's a few things that you probably don't know. If you hold this coin or bullion, if you hold that, your savings are safe in the long term. And history proves that. Gold goes back for 5,000 years. It's been a medium of exchange for 5,000 years, so you know you're safe. Intrinsically, of course, as I said before, paper money is intrinsically worthless. But there's something that goes a little bit further than that. If you go to your bank and say, I would like to buy some gold, I'd like to preserve my wealth, my savings, and I'd like to buy £50,000 worth of gold, say, or whatever it happens to be, £50,000 worth of gold. And they will say, yes, fair enough, but they will give you an ETF, an exchange-traded fund. Now, don't get confused by anything. Basically, it's a promissory note. It's a receipt, for want of a better expression, saying that when you come back and present it, they will give you the equivalent in value of the spot price of gold at the time. But now that's not the same thing as holding gold. That's not the same thing as holding gold. What that is a promissory note from a modern clearing bank. Who wants one of those? They're going to be long gone. They're all broke. So you thought you were buying gold. You weren't buying gold. You weren't buying coinage. You weren't buying bullion. You were buying a promise from a bank. And as we all know, banks are crooks. Central banks are the biggest crooks, and we all know that. So you have to bear that in mind. An ETF isn't gold. If you want to hold gold, you have to hold it in specie. Somewhere safe, you can hold it in specie at the Royal Mint, or a bullion dealer, you can hold it there. And if you want to be doubly safe, hold it in Switzerland, which means the government can't steal it from you. Because all governments, of course, are thieves in the main. Now, you may worry or be interested to know why the volatility of gold continues, and has done for several decades now, the volatility of gold. Well, because Wall Street, America, and the City of London trade gold in paper. They don't trade bullion. Nobody buys and sells bullion. What they do is they trade paper, so you see volatility. Now, there are 500 pieces of paper, 500 promissory notes for every piece of gold. So what is being traded is not bullion or coin, it is pieces of paper, and that's hence the volatility. The people that hold bullion and gold are people like the Russian central banks, the Chinese, in the Far East, in Asia. They hold bullion, they hold gold. They don't go for this paper promissory note business. So they're really holding it. So bear in mind, if you want this protection of gold, you must hold it in specie, not as pieces of paper. Because as soon as everybody turns up to their bank saying they'd like to exchange their piece of paper for gold, coin or bullion, of course it isn't there. It doesn't exist. So I say again, if you want to protect your savings, have gold in specie.